Hi, and welcome to CSCMP's Member Mondays. I'm your host, Timothy Pajak, and I'm the Membership Engagement Manager here at CSCMP. Today, we're pleased to have Guy Ross, Executive Vice President of Kimmel and Associates, which is the largest industry-specific executive recruiting firm in North America. Guy is also one of the newest ambassadors for CSCMP. Guy, welcome.
Hey, Tim, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Guy, our audience will definitely want to hear your story of how you began your career in recruiting and specifically logistics and supply chain recruiting. But first, I think we should start with a little bit about your company itself and what type of roles and firms you recruit for.
Okay. Kimmel Associates has been around for 40 plus years. We pride ourselves on taking care of our clients the way we take care of our neighbors. We kind of work on a servant leadership attitude. We focus on supply chain, construction, and waste management. And what we do is we work with executives within those companies and try to function as a partner with them and work with them as a trusted advisor, because we're constantly talking with people at the C level, and we have information that we can share, not specifics, but industry trends, best practices, those sorts of things. So I think we come across as a very valued partner with a number of our clients.
Absolutely. You've been at the firm for 25 plus years, right?
In recruiting years, that's 107.
107. And but supply chain is still relatively a new industry, because you've been on the construction side, right? For a while, you recruiting for construction firms.
Correct. I've been here for about 25 years. And the first 22 years, I worked with executives in construction in Southern California. All of our work was remote. And right when COVID hit, I felt a need for a breath of fresh air. And within our group, it was a good time structurally here for me to make that switch. So I switched over to supply chain, and I didn't realize I would be hearing supply chain on the news every week, like we did. But it just was very serendipitous, and I haven't looked back. I absolutely love this switch.
Absolutely. Now, how did you get into recruiting to begin with? Because I think your career began on, as a counselor, right? I imagine there's a lot of parallels, but
there is, and I guess the biggest attribute that I use crossing over from counseling to supply chain or recruiting is just listening. I think a lot of people in sales positions want to push and sell their product, and I think the better we are as listeners, the better we can serve our clients. But getting back to your original question, I spent 10 years as a counselor, and I worked specifically in what they call employee assistance counseling, which I'm sure most large groups know what that is. And what we did is we would work with supervisors and help them see job performance issues among their employees. And if they saw that there were certain issues, there's probably a personal issue going on that is causing job performance issues. So we kind of coach them on how you address this and how you work with those people. And then we also, function as a confidential counseling resource for client employees as well.
Thank you. I appreciate that kind of background as to how you got to this place today, right? One question, I think you've been a member, relatively new member to CSCMP. Is there anything you can share, insight stories from the past year plus that a way that your membership has already been impactful to some of your own personal professional goals?
I think the most important thing, especially coming out of COVID, was everything was electronic and everything was on a Zoom, like what we're doing right here, right now. And joining an organization like this, I was able to go to the national conference was it September, October? I can't remember what month. And then do some of the local roundtable meetings down in Charlotte. And I just think it's so important to have that human touch. And it gives you, I don't want to say it gives you more credibility, but it gives you the ability to say, look, I sat down and talked with Tim. And or I sat down with so-and-so, and we had lunch, and I have a good feel for who he is. And flip that around, I talk with the executive VP of this company, and when I'm talking with a candidate, I can say, I've spoken with that guy in person, and this is why this is something you should take a look at.
Absolutely. I love that you mentioned the human touch, because that's probably been one of the biggest challenges for not just job hunters, but anyone career-wise, wanting to build their network over the last couple years, and taking a pause from human contact, right, and then having to come back to it. But kind of pivot from that a little bit. How would you recommend that an executive level job candidate, how would you recommend they leverage their membership with CSCMP to be successful in the current job market?
I guess you start with at ground zero, and you start by, who do I know? Who have I met with? If you are in the CSCMP Chicago group, get involved in some of their roundtable events. I don't know if they have a roundtable event. I would assume they do, but get involved with that, because it's all about who you know and growing your network, if that's personal or professional. And if you're in a meeting, you just don't know what's going to happen if you're sitting next to Bob and you have an educational seminar, and afterwards you guys go out and have lunch, and then you just start talking about what you do, and wheels start turning in people's head, and this is what I'm looking for, and and maybe nothing happens from that today, but 3 weeks from today, you're talking with the executive vice president of human resources for company X, and they're talking about looking for a director of supply chain, then the dots start to connect.
Absolutely. One last question I have, and by all means, I would love to hear more about this. So your Meet a Member profile, I don't recall if it's been published yet or not, or if it's coming soon, but one of the things that I noticed in there that I latched onto was we have a question about what your childhood dream job would be. And you mentioned professional baseball player. And I just love, timely topic. Baseball season just started. So tell us, who's your favorite team? What do you foresee happening this season?
Well, you're not going to like this answer, Tim. Yeah, I don't want to say that was my plan, but as a kid, I wanted to play ball, and I played shortstop, and as I grew, I played a number of different positions, and then I played organized ball from when I was 5 until I was 40. And when I got older, I was playing softball. I wasn't playing organized baseball. But when the strike happened during the World Series in 1995, I was just so disappointed in both sides. It's like, how can you strike, during the World Series? You've got your differences. I want to get paid more. I want to pay less, whatever the issue is. But the World Series, that's a sacred event, right? You don't, it's like a team not coming out at halftime of the Super Bowl. You don't say, oh, at this point, I'm going to hold this, this owners group hostage. So after that, I really, unfortunately, lost interest in baseball, because it was just all about the money, and it was very evident. And, so I moved on.
And haven't looked back since?
No, haven't looked back since. We've got a minor league team here in Asheville. We're based out of Asheville, North Carolina, and I'll go to those games. Because those guys they're trying to aspire, they're trying to get to their dream. So I still love the game. in fact, I just read today that our ball field is the third oldest ball field in North America. You know, Babe Ruth and Ty Cobb played there. You know, and it's just a special place, and I love going to ball games and, you know, being there in person. But I don't follow the Braves, or I'm sure people in my office here are sweating that. There are a lot of Braves fans here in Asheville, North Carolina, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I appreciate that story. That was really good insight. And, you know, I appreciate your time today. Thank you,
Sure.
of course, for your membership with CSCMP, and delighted to have you as a new ambassador. Look forward to chatting with you more about that in the future. But again, appreciate you joining us for this edition of Member Mondays.
It's been my pleasure. And, you know, if I'm just here to help serve the industry, and if I can give back in any way whatsoever, you know, that's what I'm here to do. Okay.
Absolutely. Appreciate it. Thanks, Guy.
All right. Thanks, Tim. Have a great day.